What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show here on Better Sports Network, brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my well-dressed co-host, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
Not a whole lot. Recovering from yesterday's championship parade from Jeopardy, where I stormed the streets of Deltona, Florida.
Dude, I saw the
beautiful.
pictures. It was incredible. Guys, joining us today to try to end that celebration, we don't need a nude parade 2.0 today, is our great friend, Dave Richard. You know who he is, but if you do not, he is a senior fantasy football writer and host over at CBS. You can find him on Twitter at Dave Richard. Hashtag AskFFT is his name on there right now because he likes to answer your questions. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
It's a pleasure to be back on with you, gentlemen. Simon, I love the colorful outfit. It's really snazzy, very, very unique. You don't really see people dressed that way very often. So I like it. Big thumbs up for me because I'm clearly a fashionista myself.
Thank you very much. The one I'm wearing right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's your outfit.
Wildly colorful.
I agree.
Thank you, Joey.
You're not dressed like a schmuck like Joey.
No, I haven't. Joey. Yeah, no. I know. I need to up the budget for the wardrobe, which we can talk about my contract after I saw what Mason Rudolph got today. I still think it's unfair that I have to sign a daily contract by fax with you guys, but here I am. So
we are not the Steelers and do not hold us to the same standard as whoever signed Mason Rudolph, Joey.
Do you guys want to kind of change up how this show could go?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm looking in the comments and I see that my buddy Scott Fish is there. And I don't know, have you ever had Scott on your show before?
We have had Scott on the show before, but
is
all right, let's go.
Good at the games? Like, is he going to beat me?
Scott's good, but usually he's got his son telling him the answers in his ear. So now that he's on camera, we'll see how good he is, I guess.
100%.
I think we should invite him to, make this an even, take it from a mano-a-mano to a
head-to-head
triangle.
I like that idea. We got Scott Fish in the chat. Says, that's it. I'm crashing the show. Well, Scott, put your money where your mouth is. I'm sending you the link on Twitter right now. All you got to do is pop on in here and you will be going head-to-head against Dave Richard and Joey. Link is in your inbox right now. Come on in, Scott.
So
we'll see if we make it happen.
One of my favorite things about Scott, everybody knows how generous he is and how he's, kind of made a huge impact on the industry and the whole charitable aspect of it, along with the fishbowl. But we mock draft with Scott maybe about 4 or 5 times a year. And in every mock draft that I'm in, when you take a guy that's at the top of Scott Fish's queue, he gets so angry. And I am so amused by it because it's a mock draft. Who cares? We're not playing the league out. And he just gets so over it. And I'm nuts for that.
I think
it's hysterical that Scott gets so angry
he brings the passion.
at mock drafts.
I think that's a great quality to have when mock drafting, though, as someone that shares the same anger and vitriol every time someone gets sniped. I like that in Scott. Is he coming or not, or is he just talking more nonsense?
We're going to find out. Dave. I haven't seen in the chat. We got other people in the chat ready for today's show. Our friend Grim in here says, what's up, guys? What's up, Grim? And Victor with the happy hump day, brochachos, and hyped Dave. Last week, Victor came in the chat and said, this is day one of me coming in and asking until Dave Richard appears on the show. And on that day, we were like, hey, great news. He'll be on next Wednesday. He had to ask once and only once, and he made it happen.
That's how easy it is to get me on with you guys, that you just have somebody random ask, and Joey comes up and he's like, hey, we've got nothing going on next Wednesday. We don't have a guest. We can't find anybody. You want to do it? And I was like, sure. You're going to pay me what, you usually pay me to come on the show? And he's like, yeah, we'll give you a banana. And check it out.
He's getting bananas.
Joey's a man of his word.
It is. We do tend to pay in food here at FYF, primarily peanuts, but for the big names, we'll pull a banana out from time to time.
I appreciate you guys doing that.
You know what? Only for you, Dave. We got Craig in here saying full perception.
Hashtag pulling the banana out.
We might pull our banana out for Scott Fish as well if he makes his appearance. We got Craig down here saying pull perception without your space helmet, Dave. You're gonna find that rather difficult.
I'm gonna need to redo this, Simon, because you didn't get the reference. I'm gonna do it. Pull perception without your space helmet, Dave. You're going to find that rather difficult. Do you know what that's from, Simon?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
It is from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That was a very just contextually based guess on the voice, the time frame, and movies that I think you would be referencing.
That is my favorite reference you've ever done on the show. Like, well done.
Nice job, Craig. We got Twin in the chat with the yo. Toronto Dave, shout out Dave from the Toronto area, saying hello, beautiful people.
Nice.
Glad to have you in here. We got Pang in the chat. Hello, friends. What's up? Dame down here, ready.
Dame.
Always killing it in the chat at these games. We got Jay on here that says, Simon, your hair looks amazing today.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Jay. Grim fan happens to disagree with you, though, but that's okay. We got Scampers down here saying, good afternoon, FYF fam. Excited that Dave is here. And Mr. Scampers agreeing with Dave. Up your flare game, Joey.
Yeah, I know.
Up your flare game. We had a quick wrestling question before we get into our game of pole
Yes.
perception. Grim wanted to know, Joey, what do you think of AEW All Access moving to HBO Max, as well as the announcement of AEW Collision debuting June 17th?
So I am excited for Collision. If it means that they can get CM Punk back to the company to anchor that show, that's fantastic. I think Tony Khan is doing everything he can to revive WCW from the 90s, and I'm here for it. We'll see. Graham, I did see last week you asked what I thought of the Moxley Omega match, the cage match, and I thought it was fantastic. Looking forward to more of stuff with them. As we know, I'm a huge Kenny Omega mark. So yeah, but I'm excited for the new show.
He's good. That new show, it's in the middle of June, right?
Yes. I haven't seen the premiere date. Tony's going to talk about it tonight, apparently.
And the first show is going to
Thursday.
be from the United Center in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm. That music's going to hit,
Yeah,
you know?
I got a feeling there's a seat there for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
And maybe we can make I don't know. I was going to make a collision. Fantasy football and wrestling collision, but it's really just going to be me at a show with my friends.
We got some more wrestling fans down here. With Darius in the chat saying, good afternoon, all. Hoping all is well with all. We got Bobby in the chat saying, what's up? Albert down here. Welcome in. And Scott Fish coming in and chickening out, saying, I actually can't. It was just a joke. Now I feel bad. I probably could for a bit, but that's not how the show works. Well, Scott, yet again. See, Dave, this is always what happens. He talks big game in the chat. We shoot him the link.
It's kind of my fault. It's kind of my fault because, I saw him in the chat and wanted him to join in, and he can't do it. So you know what? Just to make myself feel better and to make Joey feel better, let's give Scott third place in today's game.
Scott, you will be on the scoreboard with 0, and if you happen to score any points at some point during this game, you can have them. But you're going to have to show up on stream for that. Because we did bring Dave here, not just to talk some wrestling and trying to coax Scott Fish onto the show. We brought him here primarily to play a game that we call Pole Perception. It is a game that tests your ability, your understanding of the public's perception of the NFL and fantasy landscape. Before the show, myself, with some help from Jay Felicio, found 7 beautiful, succulent, juicy, interesting polls across Twitter and the interwebs. I'm going to propose one of those polls to one of our contestants. I may propose one to Joey. Hey, Joey, what percentage of people would prefer Saquon Barkley over DeAndre Hopkins in a dynasty league? You're always going to be given an answer for the first option. So you would set the line.
67%.
67%. The closer that is to the actual number, the more points you would get. 10 if you are exactly right. 1 if you're 15 away. It scales up within there, and it's 0 if it's any further out. Now, before I reveal the answer, though, Dave, you will guess whether the actual answer, the actual percentage that chose side A, is over or under Joey's guess. So he's setting the line. You're picking the over-under on there. If you
this
get that
is basically like Card Sharks from the 80s. Remember that game show?
This is very similar to Card Sharks. It's the same mechanic. Joey's going to get accuracy points based on how close he is to the actual. You're going to be able to earn points based on his guess, though. There is a third option. If you think Joey's exactly right, you can queen bee it. You can say that you think he is exactly right. It's statistically improbable. It is a glory play. It has never been successfully done on the show. But one day it's going to happen.
One day. People have hit, like contestants have gotten the percentage right and gotten the 10 points, but no one has gotten the 10 points and pulled off the queen bee.
How many points is queen bee worth?
10. The same amount as the person who got it right.
So
you're bringing something up. Very important.
I got it. Yeah. Like I'm wondering, like, is it an automatic win for me if I call for Joey being exactly right? And it's not. It's only worth 10.
The
So
reason
now I don't know if it's going to be to my advantage to even consider that option.
here, you bring up a very contentious point whenever we've discussed these rules. There are strong sides on both. My reasoning for making it only worth 10 is that the opportunity cost isn't great. The maximum points you can earn besides doing that is 2. So you're not giving up the opportunity to earn that many points. So it doesn't put you too far in the hole. That being said, I understand the arguments on the other side because the amount it takes to hit that.
And then the other question is, if I call for that and I'm right, does that mean that Joey doesn't get the 10 points?
Oh no, he still gets it. So you basically cancel out his perfect.
So that's ridiculous.
This is why I say Queen Bee should be worth 15.
I think Queen Bee should take away the 10 points from Joey and come to me.
That's a good idea. It's like a steal mechanic.
Right.
Jade on here says should be 20. Tim says I'm still lobbying for 15 points. They are all over. The chat's with you. Ricky Butts down here is just in love with us. I'm not even sure if that was about the Queen Bee.
Probably
but guys,
not.
we will go
Probably
through.
talking about your outfit.
He probably is talking about how colorful and vibrant my outfit is.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go through 6 polls like that, 3 rounds. You guys will each get 3 polls yourself before the 7th and final poll, where there is no more over-under nonsense. You're both just going to write down the percentage that you think is on side A. Whoever's closer gets 5, unless you're exactly right, and you'll get 10. The person with the most points at the end of that 7th and final poll is our poll perception champion. You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Dave, you've played a couple games with us before, but you have not played poll perception, right?
Correct.
This is your first time playing poll perception. Well, Joey, then I am going to have you go first in today's game. Dave, you are going second in today's game.
Are we sure that I'm the best person to show him how to play this game?
Absolutely
Dave,
not.
I played probably 50 times, and then 2 weeks ago, I forgot how to play the game. Like, I could not remember how to play the game. It was very funny, but I'm good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I might need you to forget so that I can win.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over. You've incited the masses on the Queen Bee rule. Grim says 100 for Queen Bee. Twin says Queen Bee cancels the show forever.
Whoa!
Mrs. Camper says successful Queen Bee owns FYF. Yeah, we're there we go. Yeah, if you successfully pull off the Queen Bee, you now own the company. All right, Joey, are you ready for your first poll?
Yes.
Here it is. Which side do you prefer in Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
Side A is Ramondre Stevenson. Side B is Jameson Williams and a 2024 second-round pick. What percentage of people chose Ramondre Stevenson?
I love that you gave me the guy that's still like, I'm still drafting Jameson Williams, this question. Oh, boy. So a lot of these dynasty polls, I feel like they get split between the masses by who are the running back people and who are the wide receiver people. And I always feel like there are more wide receiver people than running back people. I would rather have Ramondre Stevenson right now if I'm playing to win now or like in the next 3 years. I don't even know if that's true. James is going to miss 6 games, but it's dynasty. All right. I am going to go 51% Ramondre.
51% on the Ramondre side, Joey?
55.
55. Locking it in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Joey locked in 55%. Dave, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Ramondre Stevenson over Jameson Williams in the 2024 second was over or under Joey's guess of 55%?
It's going to be over. The one thing that I know about Twitter polls is that recency bias is a massive, massive factor. And the latest news that came out on either of these two players is what Joey mentioned, Jameson Williams being suspended. I think that makes a lot of fantasy managers, even in Dynasty, just a little bit more nervous about Jameson Williams. Heath Cummings on our show, Fantasy Football Today, actually made a great point. He had a list of, I don't know, maybe like 10 wide receivers that were taken in the first round and never had 600 yards combined in their first 2 seasons. And it's a who's who of poo piles from the past, I don't know how many years he went back, but a long time. And it's a concern because if Jameson Williams can't ignite it in the last 11 games that he plays in, is he ever going to? And that's got to sit in the mind of some dynasty managers. I think they'd rather have Ramondre Stevenson. I actually thought that the percentage would be like right around 73%. So this is an easy over for me.
Dave taking the easy over on your guess, and the chat is a little bit split on this one. Grim fan came in first with the 44%, but Victor then going up closer to what Dave said was 77. Dame at 70%. Scampers down at 28% on the Ramondre side. Dave sitting at 44. Craig at 48. Albert guessing 54. We have Ladarius coming in with 61%. Twin with 65. And Andrew doesn't care what the number is. He's just excited. Dave's here, baby. Go, Dave, go.
Go, Andrew, go.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Andrew. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Well, guys, the actual percentage of people that chose Ramondre Stevenson in this poll was 63%. So,
Okay.
Joey, you were within 10, so you're going to get 3 points. Dave, you correctly guessed the over-under, so you're going to earn 2 points here on Joey's first poll, bringing the score to 3-2 on a pretty good round to start us off.
That was pretty painless. All right.
Pretty painless. Yeah, it was a decently good guess, and Dave, you identified perfectly what was going to go on there. Whenever you were breaking this down, it did feel very uncertain on the Jameson Williams side. Are you equally as confident on the Ramondre Stevenson side?
I am for this year, because you just look at the Patriots running back depth chart, and it's Ty Montgomery, it's James Robinson, it's Pierre Strong. There are not a lot of running backs that you can look at and say, all right, well, Belichick's going to go with that guy at some point, the first time Ramondre Stevenson fumbles the ball away. I think they're making a pretty clear commitment to Ramondre Stevenson. I love that as a fantasy manager who has struggled with Patriots running backs for years and years.
Yep.
And assuming that they don't go and add somebody else along the way, which, listen, that can always happen. I think you're going to see Ramondre dominate playing time and be worth a top 24 pick in fantasy.
I think it's just one of those like mental barriers that fantasy managers are going to have to push past this year to draft Ramondre Stevenson where he deserves to be drafted, because there is a built-in bias that just feels wrong to click that draft button under the running back column in the second or third round. Like, that doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm making a mistake. But you're right. I agree with you. You look at the pieces they, I guess, haven't surrounded him with in the running back room, and it seems pretty clear. No Damian Harris there anymore either. No. We got some people in the chat. Michael down here saying good afternoon, and Mr. Scampers coming in with the final vote on what the Queen Bee does. Successful Queen Bee pantsless promo. So if you successful Queen Bee, you then have to give a pantsless promo immediately on the spot. Sound good?
Sounds good.
The promo is pantsless, and it's also for being pantsless.
But the best part is we don't have to take our pants off beforehand.
We just have to stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah, I'll have to drop the blanket, but that's about it. That's about it. Also, I see Grim down here asking you, Damian Harris is gone in New England now, right? Yeah,
correct.
He is
in Buffalo.
What do you guys think about his landing spot in Buffalo? It's a confusing one because in these mock drafts, it's a name that always comes out. I'm like, maybe? Like, feels like it could be a value where he's going right now.
I just did a super flex mock. No one was in there to be mad about picks being taken away from them. I think I got Damian Harris in like round 10.
Wow.
9, just like super late as my third running back. And I just think people are going to eventually say, all right, here's a guy that might get some, modest touchdown numbers. Maybe he runs the ball 175 times, is a 0 in the passing game. He's depth. And you just hope that he scores a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's value in that. In the 10th round, there's a lot worse backs that you could be drafting.
Sure.
Well, Dave, it is your turn. The score is 3-2 after that first poll going Joey's way, but this one is now yours. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here's your question. Will Calvin Ridley be a top 20 wide receiver this season? Side A is yes. Side B is no. What percentage of people said yes in this poll?
So I need to remove my bias from my answer because I think Calvin Ridley's set to be on fire this year. Really think that he's going to lead the Jaguars in targets, catches, yards, and touchdowns. I think he's extremely motivated. Everybody's worried about him not being the same after not playing a year ago. I have a hard time believing that he's going to be bad. And so I've got to remove that from my answer. That's first and foremost. I think the general perception of Calvin Ridley is that he's still a good receiver, but we're coming off a year in Jacksonville where Christian Kirk had a good year, and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram all contributed. And so a lot of fantasy managers might say, you know what? There's too many mouths to feed in Jacksonville. Calvin Ridley's not going to get enough of that target share. Now I've got to think about what Joey might think for Calvin Ridley. And Joey, I know, probably subscribes to the same feeling that I have on Calvin Ridley, which is that he could have a really good year. And so as I filibust trying to think about what number I want to land on for this,
I truly didn't even notice until you pointed it out there.
Ultimately, I'm trying to fall within 15 either way. And I think I'm just going to play it safe here, Simon. I'm going to say that 49% of the people said yes, he'll finish as a top 20 wide receiver.
49% of the people said yes. Well, we got some guesses in the chat, and a lot of them are close to you. But again, we got some disagreement in the chat. Mr. Scamper's coming in with 69%, you naughty cat.
Naughty cat.
We got Toronto Dave in here with 38, and Michael just throwing some fire onto Dave. Absolutely, Toronto Dave is the best. We got Craig in here with 40%. Andrew Hall coming in with 55. Grim Fan guessing 27. Victor thinks it's 52. And Michael going with 57%. Dame going with 62. Albert with 60. And Scott Fish coming in saying, I'm in on Ridley. 54% though. This is the public. Mm-hmm. And Twin said 45.
Oh, so he can give his answers in the chat, but he can't.
I know, right? It's the same story every time, Dave. It's and then we get painted like, watch, he'll be in here tomorrow and he'll be like, how come I never get invited on the show?
Yeah, Dave was on yesterday. You wanted me to come on. You guys wouldn't let me come on. Yeah.
Well, guys, the actual percentage of people.
I haven't said over 100 yet.
Wait a minute, Simon.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot that part.
I think it's over.
Well, thanks, Joey.
Yeah. I do like Ridley as well. I'm just excited for that whole Jacksonville Jaguars team, to be honest. I love what we saw to Christian Kirk last year. I think ETN is, for me, he's a top 10 running back, even higher. I think I have him at running back 7, right behind Bijan and Tony Pollard. I'm all in on ETN. So everything going on, but Ridley's a big part of that. So yeah, I'm definitely in.
Joey, not that your take wasn't funny, but I didn't mean to laugh at you. Scott Fish coming in and said, the truth is I'm completely naked. Which understandable. If someone hits a queen bee, we'll tap you in for the pantsless promo, Scott. Otherwise, good luck finding those clothes, and we'll see you next time on the show. All right. Well, I apologize for.
I've been there, Scott.
I apologize for skipping over your turn, Joey.
It's okay.
But the actual percentage of people that chose Calvin Ridley in this poll was 57%. Dave, you were 8 percentage points off, just like Joey was on the last run. So there is an exact repeat of the last round. You're within 10. You are going to add 3 points to your score. Joey, you're going to add 2 points to your score for correctly picking the over-under. And the score is going to be 5-5 after the first full round of polls. Neck and neck. Couldn't be closer.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone in the chat get that one exactly right? I don't think so. I think Scott was the closest.
Scott was at 54.
Michael, 57%. Nice job, Michael.
Nice.
Spot on. I wanted to
go. Andrew Go was at 55%. That was pretty close.
Shout out, Andrew. Nice job, guys. We talked.
I'd have been way off on that. I would have guessed how much at like 75%.
You would have let that bias get in the way. Dave did a nice job breaking that on. You said you were filibustering, but you also did a great job of navigating your personal bias to get to the actual number there.
Yeah, that ended up working against me because I should have gone. What I really should have said is like something closer to like 60%, and hoping that somehow Joey would have said over, and then I would have been.
I would have.
Closer. Yeah.
If you'd have guessed 57%, that'd have been good too.
Unless that's what you should have done.
No.
That's what you should have done. We talked a bit about Calvin Ridley there, but Dave, I did want to ask you, does this mean you're out on Christian Kirk at his current draft cost if you're in on Calvin Ridley being the focal point there? Or is this they can both find fantasy success?
What's the draft cost?
I guess currently he's going in he went 3 rounds after Calvin Ridley in the last draft I did. I think Calvin Ridley was 3rd. Christian Kirk was 6th, but I can pull up some official ADP data here.
I'm out at round 6. I think round 7 is fine in PPR.
7 is fine.
And probably lower than that. Look, Christian Kirk had a great year last year. You can't judge him on that because Calvin Ridley is now there. And Ridley's going to, even if he doesn't command like way more targets than Christian Kirk, he's going to command a lot. And I think it's going to come at a cost of Kirk, of Ingram, definitely of Zay Jones. And I think there's a chance that Kirk kind of turns back into what he was when he was in Arizona, which is a fledgling, like 11 point per game PPR wide receiver.
Dave, do you see Ridley as someone that might start off the season a little slow because it's been a 2-year layoff for him? He is someone that I'm happy to take him at draft value, but he's someone that like I feel like I'm going to be trading a lot for if he comes to a slow start.
I agree. And now I'm looking at their schedule. I'd be a little surprised by a slow start. They start with Indy, Kansas City, and Houston. And that's and then Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's defense is okay after that. They've got a nice schedule to begin the year. So there's a ramp for Calvin to actually get off to a red hot start, and then you can't trade for him. So I think if you want Ridley, I think you got to take him. And I think mid to late round 3 is the earliest he'll go.
We're getting Richardson Lawrence week 1. Let's go.
That's wild. Is Richardson's going to start week 1, you think? They've said that they plan on starting him.
He has to be completely awful for him to not. And so far, everything that I've read out of Indy is that he's looking okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Richardson. I was
going to say, Simon, do you have him as a top 10 quarterback this year?
I have not tracked out my top 10 quarterbacks yet. I know Joey's got him, I think, generously within the top 10. I think top 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, no, I'm not that. I'm like
not that high.
I'm at 8 right now.
8, okay.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good. That means he's over like Trevor Lawrence.
No, so here's where I've got Lamar behind. Actually, you know what? Lamar is right ahead of Lawrence, ahead of Richardson. Herbert's above them. So where am I missing on the 1?
Fields?
Maybe it's not. Oh, it's above Fields. That's it.
Wow. So you're cold on Fields.
A little. I wouldn't even say I'm cold on Fields. Like I used to listen to this podcast, and it really taught me to wait on quarterback. So I really look at those like mid-range quarterback guys, like Geno and Goff. I'm really excited to have those guys this year.
Okay. Well, that podcast has started to take a turn the other way.
It has. I don't know what to do.
And it actually started last year if you were really listening to it.
I wasn't. I'm on my own now. No, I'm kidding.
I'm hyped for Fields this year. I'm maybe a little bit opposite of Joey. I truly I'm so excited. I'm a little bit too hyped on Justin Fields, but this seems like it could be a huge taking off year for him. So I'll have him above Richardson, but I still like Richardson going into next season. Well, guys, after that round, like we mentioned, it is 5-5, neck and neck. And Joey, we are coming to you for the beginning of round number 2. Are you ready for your next poll?
I'm always ready.
Okay, here we go. Here it is, Joey. Devontae Adams for Garrett Wilson. Who says no? Side A, the Jets. Side B, the Raiders. Or side C, good trade. What percentage of people said side A, the Jets?
I don't like this poll, and I'll tell you why, because it doesn't say dynasty or redraft. So it's just saying Adams for Wilson. I think stock up on Wilson with Aaron Rodgers there, but I think people already assumed Aaron Rodgers was coming there.
So I will say, Joey, this is asking in a hypothetical NFL trade.
Right. That's what I thought.
Would the Jets or the Raiders decline this move? Because this is a thought experiment with Aaron Rodgers now in New York.
Sure.
They're asking, would New York, like, which one of these teams would say no to this? Or side C is, do they both say yes?
So what's he guessing here?
The percentage of people that chose the Jets, that think the Jets would say no to this trade.
Okay.
Man, this is a tough poll to. I think the Jets would rather have Garrett Wilson just for the future of their franchise, regardless of Aaron Rodgers being there or not. I understand why Devontae Adams is in here. I'll say the Jets say no 55%. I hope I'm reading the room. Wait, there's 3 options. 41% side A.
41% side A.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Dave, Joey set the line at 41% that the Jets would be the reason this trade doesn't go through. What percentage of people, or do you think the actual answer is over or under?
In my head, before Joey originally answered, I figured that 55% of people said Jets, and Joey initially said 55%. And that made me think about, holy cow, am I about to do this queen bee thing? And does that mean that I automatically win front yard fantasy? And,
Take
I
your
start
pants
thinking about
off?
retiring. But then he changed his answer and he's down to 41%. I think it's going to go over 41%.
Dave taking the over and having his, it's like the daydream right before the lottery numbers get called, and then your dreams are crushed immediately. Joey pulled that rug out from underneath you.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry.
Also, Twin down here was saying, we didn't hear what he said, but he sure seemed excited. So I guess there was a moment where something cut out on there. And Better Boss hyped in the chat to see Dave Richard here, Hall of Fame. What's up, Matt? Welcome in. We had some guesses on this one. Andrew coming in with 79%. Craig guessing 40%. We've got Grim with 11%. Twin with 29. Mr. Scampers with 55. Michael with 62%. Victor coming in with 40. Albert coming in with 72%. Ricky Butts with 33%. Tim thinks it's 47.
Was that a percentage or just a slash?
Oh, yeah. He thinks it's 33 over an infinite denominator is what I'm assuming that means.
Always.
We've got Dame in the chat with 25%.
All over the place.
Yeah,
Man.
these are truly all over. 28
Interesting.
and 49 from Ladarius. Okay. Well, guys, the actual percentage of people that said the Jets would turn this trade down was 70%. Joey, your first guess would have been right about in that range, 15 percentage points away, but unfortunately, you are going to get no points for that one. Dave, you will get 2 points for correctly picking the over-under there. And I think in the chat, Joey, I think you were hitting on, like, your explanation was spot on. Just the three options messed you up. The Jets.
The three options threw me off completely.
You want Garrett Wilson. Like, if both of these teams probably want Garrett Wilson. If you're an NFL team, regardless of who your quarterback is, you want Garrett Wilson probably. Dave, if you were the Raiders, would you prefer Garrett Wilson or Devontae Adams on your team?
I'd prefer Garrett Wilson because you've got him for the majority of his career, and Devontae is 30, and he's a high contract on top of that. And the Raiders are probably closer to a rebuild than they want to admit. They've kind of been rebuilding for years anyway. It makes sense. I was thinking that the public would weigh that relationship between Rodgers and Adams a little, like almost like they're living in a fantasy world. Like it's not reality, but they would weigh it heavily. And that's why I think the good trade answer, but it was dominant that the Jets would say no. That's interesting.
And Grim down here saying, personally, I would do the trade to get the Super Bowl ring. Saying if they've got Rodgers, they think it's a 1 to 2 year window. If Adams, so Dave, you're I think you analyzed it right. There's some value being put on Rodgers to Adams. They want to see it again.
No, I mean I don't think so though, because you said that 70% of the people said the Jets would say no. So that tells me that the public is aware that Devontae is toward the end of the line, and that if they were the Jets, or they think the Jets would say no. So the public was pretty smart on this, smarter than I gave them credit for, which means they're definitely a lot smarter than what Joey gave them credit for. Joey thinks that the public is moronic and idiotic and stupid. So everybody should go to Joey's
house. It's because of all the films he's watched. It's because of all the films he's watched. He thinks he's smarter than everyone in the public.
I mean, some of these films not even in the English language. So,
some of those movies are basically books.
I'm intelligent on an international level. So,
Jerry, did I tell you the other night, my girlfriend and I were watching a movie before bed. It ended. And so we turned on a different movie. I think I did tell you the story. And we just put a random movie. We put on Fantastic Planet as we were falling asleep.
Okay.
And we watched like 20 minutes of this movie before we both fell asleep. And the next morning, I woke up, I was talking, I was like, that was a weird movie. That was bizarre. I can't wait to finish watching it. And she was like, yeah, that was so bizarre. And I was like, usually you don't like to watch movies in other languages. And she looked at me and she goes, that was in another language? She didn't see the subtitles and didn't recognize that it was French. Just it checked out to her that she didn't know what they were saying because they were aliens. You know what I mean? So she thought they were just talking an alien, not that it was a movie in French. It was the best.
Funny.
Also, Andrew down here saying, crap, I missed the answer. What was it? It was 70%, Andrew. 70% on the Jets side there. Well, Dave, that is going to earn you 2 points, giving you a slight lead on Joey's poll and an opportunity to extend that lead even more on your next poll. Are you ready?
I am.
Let's do it. Here's your next poll. Which side would you prefer in 12-team Superflex Dynasty? Side A is Jalen Waddle plus Jackson Smith and Jigba plus a 2025 first. Side B is Justin Jefferson. What percentage of people chose side A in this poll?
My initial thought is to do the exact same thing that I did the last time that I had to give a percentage, and that's just try and middle it so that I've got a big chunk of the range of outcomes. But I also want to get Joey to guess the wrong side. So this is gonna. First of all, am I convinced that the Waddle side is better? And I think it is because you've got that first down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Smith and Jigba is a really good player. And eventually he will be worth much more in Dynasty than we're giving him credit for because he landed in Seattle. And I think Waddle is a hell of a player too. So now I'm thinking, if Joey agrees with me, all right, I've got my number. I'm going to put it at 53%. So I'm kind of doing what I did last time, Simon. Almost the exact same thing, just tilting it a little bit more, seeing if I can tempt Joey to take the under.
You flirted with another strategy, but it worked for you last time. Dave going with 53%. Before Joey guesses, we got Bob Harris showing up in the chat saying, wait, I'm late for the Scott Fish nudity? Yeah, you missed it. You missed it, Bob. You missed it. And Andrew down here, I don't know what Andrew's saying. He is hard to impress. Said it was underwhelming. Then Andrew, I do not want you here whenever it's time for my nudity. And Dave letting us know that aliens speak great French. Well, Joey, giving your answer in French, please. Do you think the actual answer is over or under Dave's guess of 53%?
Oui, omelette du fromage.
See.
Yeah. Chapeau.
Was that something about an egg?
That was I think it's a cheese omelet is what I said.
Oh, perfect.
A cheese egg.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
And then you said hat.
And then I said hat. That's all French I know. And oui is I think yes. Or go pee. I don't know. One of the two. I think it's gonna be over. I like this trade. I think it's a big enough package to pull the trigger, which is not what my wife said to me on our wedding night. But yeah, can you put it back up so I can see it one more time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
That's enough.
I think it's gonna be over.
We got some answers in the chat. Over from Joey, 53% from Dave. We got Tim in here guessing 100%. Dave said 82. Twin with 84. Andrew coming in with 68%. Victor thinks it's 80. Scampers with 71. Michael agrees with you exactly, Dave, with 53%. Ooh. And Michael has gotten one spot on today. Grimfan with 88%. Ladarius with 75. Albert with 57. Dame said 38%. And
Dame.
We got Scott in here saying cheese, not egg. I think that's referring to his nude scene, if I'm not mistaken. Because the actual percentage of people that chose side A in this poll was 71%. This was 71% on the Jalen Waddle JSN and 25 first, meaning yet again, you guys have mirrored each other on your polls through 2 rounds. Joey's going to get 2 points for correctly picking the over. Dave, unfortunately, no points for being more than 15 percentage points away, which means yet again, it is tied 7-7 in this game.
I've been
the second poll in a row that the public has been smarter on.
Mm-hmm. They're getting it. So it sounds like you personally would take the package on this side, Dave.
I would.
And is it the value? Is it your projected jump in value for JSN that does this, or would Jalen Waddle plus a 25 first plus maybe above. I don't know. Would Quentin Johnston in here instead of JSN with the first and Waddle still get this done?
Maybe. But having it be Smith and Jigba definitely helps.
Yeah.
If it was Zay Flowers, maybe. Jordan Addison, Maybe not. I'm not sure, because I think Addison might just kind of be flat at like somewhere between 900 and 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns every year for his career. But that's still pretty good for fantasy. I mean, who's complaining about 1,006?
Yeah, not too many people. We got Andrew in here, was damn near spot on with 68%, and Scampers coming in with 71. Absolutely spot on. The number one answer. Nice job, Scampers, getting
Good job,
that
Scampers.
one right.
Scampers.
Nice job, Mr. Scampers. Which poll was that? Oh, yeah. Joey, you confidently sounded like you were on the Jalen Waddle side of this one. And based on what Dave said, it sounds like it's a complete package, not just one player kind of making this.
Yeah, I was trying to look at this trade and like, when would I say no to this trade? And I think the only time I would say no for Jalen Waddle, JSN, for Justin Jefferson, even taking out the one, is if it was a 10-team league and it was redraft. Like, the fact that it's dynasty, I've got 2 superstar young wide receivers plus a first-round pick. I know Justin Jefferson is the 101 or the 102 for most people, but that's enough for me.
That's enough for you. Well, guys, with a score of 7-7, we are going to move into our third round here. There is a new mechanic being introduced in this round, though. Instead of just over, under, and queen bee, there are now 2 more options available for you whenever you're guessing. You can choose way over or way under. This is if you think your opponent's guess is 15 percentage points or more off. Now, this is a double or nothing mechanic, though. If you choose way over and Joey's over by 11%, you're going to get nothing. But if he is over by the 15 percentage points or more, you're going to get 4 points instead of the normal 2. So those are your options. If you think your opponent made a very bad guess, then feel free to choose those to try to score a little bit of extra points in this last round.
So now you get to call me an idiot, Dave, and not just for fun. It actually means something now when you say it.
Got it.
All right, Joey, are you ready for your next poll?
I am.
All right. My question for you, Joey, is which running back scores the most fantasy points next season? Side A is Rashad White. Side B is Brian Robinson Jr. Side C is DeAndre Swift. And side D is Cam Akers. What percentage of people chose side A, Rashad White, in this poll?
This is a tough one. I think Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be on the low end of the 4 of these guys, according to what the public thinks. I think there's some optimism for Swift in Philadelphia. Tampa Bay did really nothing to address that running back position, so there's a lot of optimism with White. Cam Akers went to school in Tallahassee, so we all know how I feel about Tallahassee.
You love it.
I do love it. No, I don't. I'm going to say Rashad White, 36%.
36% Rashad White. Locking that in, Joey?
Yeah.
Yeah, confidently logging that in. Dave, do you have a confident over-under on Joey's guess of 36% on the Rashad White side here?
The number in my head was 38%. So Joey and I sharing the same brain here. I don't think it's going to be crazy high because there's 4 options to give. I agree that Robinson's going to be at the bottom, may not even be double-digit percentage points. I think there is going to be some interest in Swift. I'm real curious to see what the difference is between Swift and Akers. I don't know how many people are buying into Cam Akers as a guy that could be the most, or at least among this foursome, like the most productive of the running backs. I think White's the right answer. I think he's the one that's going to be there. 36%, so close to what I wanted to say. I'm going to say over, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's like at 33%. Would surprise me if it's over like 42%.
Yeah.
Well, we got an over from Dave, but an endorsement on that guess. Some answers in the chat. Grim fan, Queen Bee in your guess, Joey, thinks it's exactly right. Dave with 29%. Andrew guessing 22. We've got Victor with 11. Michael coming in with 18. Twin with 26. Nicholas, right in line with what you were saying, Dave, with 39%. Ladarius with 23. Albert with 33. Scampers with 16. And Dame with 12. So it seems like the consensus is a little bit lower, but we've got answers on both sides of your answer there, Joey. The actual percentage of people, Scott Fish coming in with the last second guess of 24% without even knowing the question. The actual percentage of people that chose Rashad White over the other 3 options in this poll was 28%. So Joey, you are within
Ooh.
10, which is going to earn you 3 points. And Dave, unfortunately, you picked the over on that, even no points
I
there.
did.
So Joey, you get a little bit of separation going into Dave's last poll.
Okay.
I agree with you guys. I think Rachaad White should be the number one answer in this poll. DeAndre Swift did end up winning this poll with 39% of the vote, though.
Did he? Okay.
Wow.
What did Akers have?
Akers had 19, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then 15.
See, that surprises me.
15
He had
for
a
Brian
really strong
Robinson.
finish.
And 15 for Brian Robinson surprised me too.
Yeah. Or 14.7 to be exact on Brian Robinson.
I would love to have seen this poll if it was asked 3 weeks ago, because there's a ton of love for Antonio Gibson right now. And I wonder if Robinson would have been a little bit higher. Just something I would like to see.
This was yesterday, this poll. So this couldn't have been any more recent. Well, I guess it could have today. Today would have been more recent.
Yeah,
but
that is good job with math and knowing the days of the week.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. In the chat, who got this one right in the chat? The correct answer was 27%.
Yeah.
Looks like someone's saying it was exactly right. I don't see it, but we had some great answers in the chat. A 24 from Scott was really close. Ladarius with 23. Twin with 26% right there, almost on the dot.
Twin.
And Dave with 29. Nice job. Nice job, everybody. Well,
I should have stuck with my 31.
You should have stuck with your 31.
Yeah.
Dave, are you... It sounds like you were on the Rachaad White side of this, but do you have optimism for DeAndre Swift in fantasy next year?
Not really, because I know what he is and I know what this Eagles offense is. And unless they make a significant decision to throw to their running backs more, and they might do that because they're anticipating defenses to play further back and more of that zone coverage. And if they do that, then yeah, that could work out for Swift. He could end up catching a lot of passes, and they're a smart coach team. So we could see that happening. But you know the drill. They're going to use multiple running backs. Jalen Hurts is going to take his share near the goal line. And Swift has a hard time just being available. The Lions learned that the hard way. The Eagles will learn that at some point this year. Akers is actually my favorite of the group.
Really?
But I don't know if the public agrees with that. I just think he's got a chance to be like heavily used. So does White. I just think Akers is better. And that's why I would take Akers in that group of four, with White second on the list.
I unfortunately have recused myself from analyzing Cam Akers this season. So Rachaad White is my favorite of those three, but I'm out on Cam Akers, not in the sense that I don't believe in him. I just refuse to form an opinion. But I like Rachaad White. Joey, are you in or out on Cam Akers?
I feel every week we discuss this privately on stream, sometimes by a lake.
Publicly, just out loud.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I do feel like it's the most discussed player at FYF with you and I, Simon. I really do, because last year we were both so out on him. And then he had that strong finish. And I feel like I was probably one of the most anti-Cam Akers people last year. And I've actually started to take a look at him. And I don't know if I'm taking him as, say, a top 24 running back, but he's definitely approached that territory where I had him very low just coming into the offseason.
Michael in here tends to be with you, Dave. Said Akers will be a top 15 RB this year. So I don't know if you were pumping him that high, but
no,
in agreement that he's going to be good at least.
I think he'll be good, and you certainly don't have to draft him that high. I know his ADP is in the middle rounds right now. I think it's around round 7, based on what I learned on our podcast today. Happy to take him at that cost.
Yeah, in round 7, it even as someone refusing to analyze him, it does get tempting with that name popping up next to the other running back sitting there in round 7. It stands out as a starter. Dave, you've got one more poll before we get to this final round. Joey has a slight lead of 10-7 at the time, but you can close that in an instant. Are you ready for your last poll?
It's like a Brown Steelers game, 10-7.
God, I've watched too many of those awful games. Here we go. Your question is, who would you rather roster in Dynasty? Side A is Marvin Harrison Jr. Side B is CeeDee Lamb. What percentage of people chose Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I would love to know if this question was asked from like a campus to Canton.
This was asked. I'll give you the account. It was a Gridiron Fantasy Show that asked it. It is a general fantasy football show. They talk different topics, but I don't think it's focused just on like a Devy specific focus.
Because I think Marvin Harrison's going to be special. I mean, he already is at
Mhm.
Ohio State. And I'd be shocked if he comes into the league and he's not special. But you can't use him this year, can you? Like, unless you're in one of those leagues where you're starting college players, you literally have to wait a year.
You would get zeros.
So I'm struggling a little bit with how the public might see this one.
For a little bit more context behind the account, I haven't looked at the answer to this poll yet, just so you know, but the account
Okay.
itself in their description says Dynasty, Devi, Redraft, DFS, and more.
Right. So
So
they're
they-
going to get a lot of people that are thinking long term. Oh, okay. I'm going to try and test Joey one more time.
Okay.
I'm going to say 55%.
Okay.
55%. Trying that strategy one last time. Joey, do you think the actual answer is over or under Dave's guess of 55% on the Marvin Harrison Jr. side?
So we're basically putting a name to the 101 with this poll. So it's a 2024 101 or CD Lamb. Because I think it's pretty universal Marvin Harrison
That's
right
a good
now.
way to look at it. Yep.
Slightly over. Yeah. Man, this is good. Dave, I'm very tempted to Queen Bee. You said 55?
55.
I'm gonna chicken out and just take the over.
Joey taking the over on
Yeah.
Dave's guess. We got some answers in the chat. Dave down here saying 88%, so a little bit higher. Also, Scott almost in line with you, 54%. And then saying he'll be awesome, but there are more than enough. Can't play him this year, people. More than enough people who want a proven product in the NFL to pull the percentage down. We had Andrew coming in with 13%, Grim with 1%, Scampers with 91%, Nicholas DiNuccio with 77%, Michael with 69%, Dame with 85%, Twin with 68%, Victor right in line with you guys at 54%, Albert with 49%. Well,
yeah, this is going to be over.
The actual percentage of people that chose Marvin Harrison Jr. in this poll was 56%. Oh! Dave, you were 1 percentage point off, and Joey, you were sniffing that it was that close.
I did say slightly over.
You were right there. A nearly perfect round, but nice job reading that one, Dave. That is going, for being within 5, you're going to earn 5 points since you're 1 off right there. Joey, you're going to get 2 for picking the over. You snuck that 2 points in there, Joey. Nice job. So, Dave, that's going to put you, I think that ties the game. Yeah,
it does.
That brings Dave up to 12 and Joey up to 12 as we go into our final poll of the game. This has truly been the most absurdly neck and neck game of poll perception we've ever had. It's ended with a tie at the end of every single round. All right. Well, here we go. Dave, do you have pen and paper handy by any chance or something to write on?
I win. Yeah. I have it.
I got it.
Man. It's my tradition.
I got a marker. I got a piece of scratch paper.
If you watch FYF for the games, the last 2 days have been very good.
They have been.
Here, I drew. Let's make sure you can see it. Okay, I drew some hills.
They're beautiful.
Do you see the hills?
Yeah, they're beautiful. Those rolling hills of various sizes.
Makes me want to take a picnic.
Well, here is your final.
Take picnics, or they go on picnics,
or do they eat picnics?
One time I saw a nice family in the park having a picnic, and I took their picnic from them. So sometimes we take picnics. Mm-hmm.
You're dressed up as a bear. Well, guys, we got one more poll. I'm going to show it to you. You'll have about 30 seconds to write down your answer. Then we will reveal whoever is closer will not only get the 5 points, but will be the champion of today's game. So it all comes down to this. And here's the question. When do you put on your deodorant? Side A, before shirt goes on, or side B, after shirt goes on? What percentage of people chose side A, before shirt goes on?
I feel like we're going to learn a lot about the world with this question.
We definitely will.
When do I put mine on?
I'm a before shirt.
Are you?
I am.
I have no idea how to answer this. All right, before shirt goes on.
Let's see. We got Scampers in the chat saying it all comes down to this. Scamper saying, "Holy smokes!" They're loving the tension here at the end of the game. Tied again, baby.
All right.
All right, let me know whenever you guys have your answers in there.
I'm good. I've got my answer.
Okay, let's go ahead and reveal those answers. Joey coming in with
55.
55%. That's been the number of the game. And we've got 70% with some more beautiful hills in there.
I think it'd have been great if Dave also wrote 55.
Yeah, I know.
Just for
I was
today.
thinking that would be an amazing way to end.
I should have texted you, but you blocked my number a while ago. So, yeah.
My phone's on silent. Anyway.
Guarantee a tie before the question even shows up just by guessing the same number. We've got some answers in the chat. Dave was 66%. Victor was 65%. Grim coming in with 93. Michael with 61. Twin with 36%. And Bob Harris coming in saying two things. How is this even a question? Also, I love Dave Richard. And Bob, I cannot
we do too.
Agree.
Bob loves me because I traded him the championship in the Kings class.
We also got Matt in here saying before shirt goes on, and I get a white streak on my shirt when I put it on. You do it every time. Tim said 73%. Dame with 66. Scampers with 50. We got Nick coming in here with 29%. Ladarius with 41. Andrew Hall with 43%. Also, Nick, I don't know if we said hi earlier. What's up, Nick? Nice.
I said hi to Nick. I singled him out.
Well, guys, the actual percentage of people that chose before shirt goes on in this poll was 70%. Dave, congratulations. You are the winner of poll perception today, my friend.
I wish I had some deodorant.
Did he nail it spot on?
No, I nailed it.
Oh, it was 75%,
70, right?
was the answer.
Oh,
your guess was 70%. I said the wrong thing out loud, but you were the closer guess. The answer was 75%. Dave, you get 5 points and win the game 17-12.
I think there's only one way to truly celebrate, and that's to eat your banana.
Mm-hmm.
Not Will Levis style?
I've never tried it Will Levis style.
Should I? Do it.
So, like, isn't this little part at the bottom gonna like mess with me?
Just take it out of the middle.
like a corn.
There
on
you go.
Cob.
He's gonna do it. Oh,
delicious.
It's not good.
Dave, you know the best part? This is not the first time somebody's eaten the peel of a fruit on this show. It happens more frequently than you would think happens on the Fantasy Football Game Show. Dave, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us, for eating that banana, and as always for sharing your fantasy football knowledge and your presence with us on this random Wednesday.
Sorry, I can't hear you eating banana.
Everybody watching right now, if you are not following our banana eating friend Dave on Twitter, you need to go and remedy that very quickly. You can find him on Twitter at Dave Richard. It's right there below his handsome banana eating face on the screen, and you can find a link to it in the YouTube video as well. So make sure you go and follow him. That is going to be it for us today, though. Great news. We're going to be back tomorrow and the next day and not the day after that, but every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Also, if you have not gotten your fantasy football fix yet today, Fantasy Football Best Ball season is here, and you can draft along with your favorite Fantasy Alarm analysts and BSN hosts in the Fantasy Alarm Discord. So all you have to do to join is go to fantasyalarm.com, pick your subscription option, get in that Discord, and you're going to be mock drafting and best ball drafting with all the alarm analysts and hosts here at BSN.
Is Andrew Cooper going to be there?
Andrew Cooper will be there. I
love Andrew Cooper.
So if that drives you away, I'm so sorry. But if you want to go beat up on Coop and draft his favorite tight ends, Chigakonkwo. Join the best ball drafts, look at his ADP, and draft Chigakonkwo 2 rounds before Coop can get him. It's worth the price of subscription alone. That is sorry, what's up, Joey?
We were in a dynasty draft together, and Simon, I was convinced you were going to take Chig from me before I did. I was like 100% positive it was going to happen. It didn't. Look at Dave just basking in his glory. We were tied, and then it came down to a deodorant question. You still won, though.
I whipped your ass.
He did.
Dave, I want to thank you one more time for taking the time to come on. I hope that victory banana felt good.
It was good, but not as good as this is going to feel.
Oh, baby. It's a celebration Wednesday. I'm going to go whip out my victory markers after this. Scampers down here saying one of the best games of all time and such a good finale. Congrats, Dave. And Scott said this would have ended the same had I come on. And Andrew, loving the victory bananas action. That's going to be it for us today. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for hanging out. Go enjoy your victory bananas, and we will see everybody bright and early at 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Adios, everyone.
Bye, everybody.